Right now at noon, Carthage voters face big decisions on school funding, from teacher pay to a new auditorium, what it means for the community.
Now we've got another very warm, very sunny day across the area, but we have changes on the way as we head into Friday, plus a lunar eclipse tonight. Look at all that for you here in just a few minutes.
Plus, a proposed tax hike could boost funding for volunteer firefighters, what it could mean for property owners.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, this is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. New at noon today, a fatal double crash in Allen County claims the life of a Moran, Kansas man. The incident happened last night at around 8 p.m. on US 54 when a Ford truck going east was hauling a large bale of hay, blocking the view of the taillights. A Chevy truck behind the Ford rear-ended the Ford, causing it to overturn. The Ford truck went into the ditch, ejecting the driver, 44-year-old Scott Welch, into the westbound lanes of US 54. Welch had suspected serious injuries from that crash. A few minutes later, an SUV was heading west on US 54 and hit Welch, who was still in the road from the previous crash. Welch died on the scene. Next of kin have been notified. And a police chase from Webb City to Joplin reaches speeds of 100 miles per hour. Now, just before 3 a.m. today, a vehicle was reported stolen to the Webb City police. As officers were responding, they spotted the vehicle and attempted a traffic stop. The vehicle failed to yield and fled east, bringing police on an 8.8-mile pursuit from East 4th and South Main Street in Webb City to 7th in Illinois in Joplin. Now there, the car crashed into a parking lot and the driver fled on foot. Webb City officers then followed on foot and quickly took the male subject into custody. Charges at this time are unknown. And we have an update on the ouster proceedings against McCune, Kansas council member Jason Hahn. Now, the city of McCune announced this morning that the Crawford County attorney had declined to take action against Hahn after the city council voted to start ouster proceedings against Hahn on January 14th. A document was sent to the Crawford County attorney and included allegations of misconduct dating back to 2017. Today, the Crawford County attorney stated that she, quote, does not find that the allegations meet the requirements to warrant ouster proceedings, end quote. Now let's head over to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Now we got another very warm and dry and sunny day across the area. It looks great downtown Pittsburgh. We'll head over to the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line. Also looking fantastic. Looking back to the south, and plentiful sunshine. All right, here's what we've got. Still fire weather watches and red flag warnings, and we're going to go over this in more detail with you. And we haven't seen changes to this yet either. Still high wind watches across the entire region as we head into Friday. We started yesterday just 3 degrees cooler than what our average high should be. Made it up to 75. It's not quite record levels, but definitely warm. 72 already in Joplin, sitting at 70 in Pittsburgh. And temperatures, we are mixed, but most of us are in the low to mid 70s, but we do have some upper 60s still hanging around here and there. Through the rest of this evening, that's the wrong cloud icon. It should be clear skies overnight tonight, down to the mid 60s by 11 o'clock. Maybe a few clouds overnight tonight as well, but nothing that should obstruct your view of the eclipse, which we will have more on that here in just a moment. And we'll talk about the very gusty winds and our thunderstorm chances for tomorrow here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, authorities are investigating after a man was found dead in Cherokee County. The sheriff's office in Baxter Springs EMS responded to Southeast Star Road and Highway 69 after a call reported finding the man in a wooded area near there yesterday. Now, the sheriff says they found him near a former semi-truck inspection parking lot. Now, they didn't find any evidence of foul play and are withholding the man's name until they can notify his next of kin. An autopsy will be conducted. Laura and Ashley's Law passes the Oklahoma House of Representatives. 25 years ago, 2 16-year-old girls went missing from Welch, Oklahoma. Now, it's a cold case that's outlived 2 of the 3 suspects and is now making waves in the Oklahoma legislature. Yesterday, Representative Steve Bayshore presented Laura and Ashley's Law to the full House of Representatives. House Bill 1001 would require individuals convicted of accessory to murder to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The legislation addresses the reduced prison sentence of Ronnie Busick, who in 2020 was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but because of good behavior and time credited while in county jail, Busick was released after just 3 years in prison, back into the area where he committed his crimes and where family members of the victims still live. Laura Bible's mother, Lorraine, was in attendance yesterday at the Capitol, and she's been a part of the investigation since day one and still hopes to one day find the bodies of both her daughter and Ashley Freeman.
And she is on a mission, and she's still looking for her daughter, and she's not going to quit until she does. And the least I can do is to try to help her in some way and to give her some satisfaction and some closure at some point.
Laura and Ashley's law passed the House on a vote of 76-11. It now moves to the Senate. And Carthage voters have some big decisions to vote on affecting the Carthage School District. One initiative is an operating levy aid tax increase meant to give teachers a pay hike. The superintendent of Carthage Schools, Luke Boyer, says Carthage has the lowest starting teacher salary of any school in the Ozark Conference, leading to a difficult time recruiting teachers. Now, the operating levy is a 55-cent tax increase, bringing it from $3.05 to $3.60. The second issue on the ballot is a bond that would go toward building an auditorium for performing arts, including choir, theater, and band students. Now, it'll also include a tornado safety shelter. Boyer says their current auditorium is small and doesn't have much capacity. This bond would not increase taxes. And the Seneca Area Fire Protection District is asking voters to approve a tax increase on April 8th. It would be the first tax rate increase for the district since it was created in 1988. Now, if passed, the increase would nearly double the tax rate to roughly 53 cents per $100 of assessed property valuation. Fire district staff say the needs of the community have grown over the years, and an increase to their yearly budget is necessary to keep their volunteer firefighters safe on calls.
Just looking at today's fires, they're growing 12 times as fast as what they were when we started the district. And so our need to respond quicker with better equipment is today more dire than ever before.
This Saturday, the fire district is hosting an open house for the community where the public can ask questions about the tax increase. And coming up, scammers online pose as Liberty Utilities to prey on victims. And later, we're making skillet Parmesan pork in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, Neosho police are warning about a new internet billing scam. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
It could happen to anyone.
We find that a lot of people that are not familiar with the internet and things like that, the older generation, are the ones that are normally falling prey to this.
At any time.
Last week we received information from a victim that he had fallen victim of a new scam. He was contacted by a subject posing as a bill collector for Liberty Utilities.
At your most vulnerable moment.
He was behind on his bill. He knew that, so it seemed more legitimate to him. So he went ahead and processed it.
But there are ways for you to detect whether you are about to be a victim of a scam.
Ask some questions before you just give them some information. We advise everybody that, the first thing you should do is ask a few questions of your own.
Liberty Utilities released in a statement how to find out whether the person on the phone is truly with the company. Liberty says that, quote, if the representative asks for immediate payments, says immediate work needs to be done, or says your utilities will be turned off immediately unless there is a payment, it is very likely they are a scammer. This isn't the first time Lieutenant Mike Sharp has had to deal with residents falling victim to scams.
We were dealing with stuff where they were portraying as law enforcement and calling people and saying, hey, your son is, or nephew or whatever, is in jail. He needs to pay his warrants to get him bailed out, and people would fall for that.
Unfortunately, those who fall victim may never see their money again.
It's too late for them to do anything. They do have their IT department working on it. I haven't heard any updates on that at this time.
In Neosho, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
All of this comes as Liberty is under a state investigation for their billing and customer service. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If getting dinner on the table in about 10 minutes sounds too good to be true, pinch yourself, because today's One Pan Wonder is just that. On your mark, get set, let's get cooking.
And we are tracking strong wind gusts tomorrow. Could be potentially damaging, and thunderstorm chances. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So today, a very simple, straightforward day. It's warm, it's sunny, and it's pretty nice outside. Tomorrow, on the other hand, not so simple and a little chaotic. And so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about that lunar eclipse. First, though, this live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear. It's not very breezy today, which is nice because tomorrow it's going to be very breezy. So real quick, and I'm just going to walk from one side to the other so we can go over the timing of the eclipse tonight, starting at 12:09 a.m. Total eclipse begins at 1:26 with the max at 1:58. Total eclipse will start to end just after 2:30 in the morning, and the whole thing starts to wrap up just before 4 a.m. So again, if you're up late or you're an early riser, you'll have an opportunity to see the eclipse tonight. If not, for any reason, the next one will be March 3rd of next year. That's the lighter side of everything. So here we have high wind watches still in effect across the entire region. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if later this evening these do get changed. They're either going to be upgraded to high wind warnings or possibly downgraded to wind advisories. It'll all just depend on what the latest information shows. And same with the fire weather watch. We already have red flag warnings, Oklahoma and Arkansas. In fact, the majority of the state of Oklahoma is under a red flag warning heading into tomorrow. These fire weather watches, again, very likely later this evening will either be canceled or replaced with red flag warnings. Those are the two choices that they have. So we'll see how that pans out. For the rest of the day, again, clear skies, a light southerly breeze. It'll be overnight tonight, after midnight, that the winds will begin to increase. Now, initially, they'll be gusting upwards of about 25-30 miles an hour. And then they're really going to take off as we go through the morning. Also, take a look at how mild we're starting our Friday morning. So we talked about this yesterday, and Doug will have more information this evening because it's changed. It's changed a couple of times, but it is showing up now on the future track. We talked about the storms initiating east of I-49 around 4 o'clock or so tomorrow afternoon. They could get strong or severe, but they'd be out of here very quickly. Unfortunately, we are looking at some new data that is suggesting the possibility, I want to emphasize, the possibility that we could see these storms start a little further to the west. And if that takes place, then they'll be able to intensify over a broader portion of our area west of 49. And that could bring a potential severe threat to a broader part of the area. Now, it's still not going to be nearly as bad as what our friends out east are going to get tomorrow. But we'll have to watch this very closely because you see on the future track, it's picked up on some of that new data. So we'll see exactly how this pans out. Either way, it's all still out of here by 6, 7 o'clock. But we want to watch it very closely because if the storms do initiate further west, they'll have more time to ramp up in intensity and become strong or severe across a broader portion of the area versus if they initiate later and further to the east. Now, right now, the severe weather outlook for what they call day 2, tomorrow, it won't update until the end of this newscast or slightly after. So this has not changed to reflect any of the new data, and it may not change. We may be looking at a less likely scenario, but it is something that's showing up and we want to keep an eye on. But at least for now, that low to elevated risk still on the assumption that these storms will initiate east of I-49 and then escalate pretty quickly as they head on out of here. But again, Doug Heddy will have more information tonight. We'll continue to monitor it very closely and have the latest for you on the off chance these storms do decide to fire up a little further west. Tomorrow, though, still very windy. That's the other side of this I wanted to talk about, those wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour. And we could see isolated gusts tomorrow up to 70. That's not associated with any storm activity we may see. That's just gusty winds out there on a clear, sunny day. So again, high-profile vehicles, you've got to be extra cautious. I wouldn't take the RV or the trailer out tomorrow. Maybe try and leave early Saturday because sustained winds, by the way, will be 30 to 40 miles an hour. So a very windy day tomorrow. We'll watch the thunderstorm chances. A little cooler this weekend, but seasonably so. Some showers Saturday and then warm again by Monday.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, stick around. We're making skillet Parmesan pork in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making skillet Parmesan pork in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're looking for ways to get dinner on the table fast, I mean really fast, nothing beats pan frying. What I like about pan frying is that it helps seal in the juices while allowing the outside of whatever you're cooking to get nice and crispy. To show you what I mean, we've got a tasty new dish for you to try tonight. We begin by cutting a pork tenderloin into chunks and then flattening them between a couple of pieces of wax paper or a plastic storage bag. Pounding these nice and thin will not only allow them to cook super fast, but it also creates more of a surface area, which is where all the flavor will be. Now we coat our cutlets with some Italian breadcrumbs that we mix with some Parmesan cheese and a bit of salt and pepper. After we cook down some onions and garlic in olive oil, we saute our cutlets in the same pan. The cutlets are going to absorb all that flavor from the onions and garlic while they cook. In less than 5 minutes, when the breading is golden and the pork is cooked through, it's ready to serve. And although this is crazy quick, don't think for a minute that it's going to lack flavor. No siree. It's just the opposite. These are amazing. To get the recipe for what we call our skillet Parmesan pork, all you have to do is visit our website. You know, this is really tasty. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a one-pan way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find the recipe on KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Warm today, near 80 degrees, perhaps a little warmer than that. Again, tomorrow the wind's a big concern, gusts to 60 and isolated gusts to 70 possible out there. And then we'll watch those thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon as well. Cooler as we head into the weekend, but seasonably so, and maybe a few afternoon showers on Saturday.
All right, lots to look out for, Chris. Thanks. And Dad, what do you have for us later on today?
Lots coming up at 5. For starters, scientists are turning to genetics to stop the spread of malaria, breeding modified mosquitoes to help wipe out one of the world's deadliest diseases. Plus, Special Olympics athletes in Southeast Kansas head to Independence for a unifying event. And we're going to meet the 2 new Freeman Health System Children's Miracle Network champions for 2025. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
All right. Thanks, Dal. Well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.